little bit by doing a poem right now for you guys. This is a true story. Last week, the angel of death came knocking on my door, totally interrupting a marathon of Golden Girls. And I'm like, dude, you were so early. There's so much more I wanted to do with my life. He said, you've got plenty of time for that. You know, you sound a bit like Sean Connery. No, it sounds a bit like me. Whatever, dude. There's got to be some sort of loophole. Like, what if we competed for my soul, like some sort of contest? Well, I do love a good challenge. If we could both agree on one, then why do we keep our soul? Well, at this point, I remembered I had a pot of ramen noodles waiting for me on the stove. The angel of death was lured in my kitchen by the sweet, aromatic joy of powdered shrimp flavoring. I could see that death was hungry, so I made a second pack of noodles. We sat and ate in silence, but my hunger just wouldn't subside. So while I'm raiding the fridge, I noticed death scoping my Rice Krispie treats. Still hungry? Huh, dude? We'll take one for the road, he said. We both put a Rice Krispie treat in our pockets. You know, I could probably eat half of all your food. So could I, dude. So could I. And it is both at the same time. We pulled out every bit of food in my house so I could get all equal halves. We had one rule. First person to finish eating their half of food keeps my soul. We sat down on the kitchen floor surrounded by an odd buffet. The world's greatest food challenge began. But this was no ordinary match. I took an early lead as death bumbled open a can of pre-fried beans. I plowed through a dozen eggs and half-gallon milk. I screeched, swallowed spoonful after spoonful of leftover lasagna without chewing. Death caught up to me with a tub of butter and half a soggy pumpkin pie. I hustled my way through cans of corn, green beans, kidney beans, chili, chicken soup, fruit cocktail, and a few cans of peas. But I was stopped dead in my tracks by a mystery can! Its label missing and nowhere to be found. Damn it. Dog food. I had no time to think. I had to eat it. Death was now ahead of me by 2 cans of beer, a frozen steak, and what we think may have been tamales. I burped to make room and continued on to feast my soul. I ate broccoli, cauliflower, cucumbers, oranges, bananas, a container of baking powder, 2 cups of salt and pepper, and a jug of Pepto-Bismol, and a can of whipped cream. We reached our last item of food. 1 raw potato each. We slowly gnawed our way through the raw potatoes and swallowing our last bites at the exact same time. It appeared as though we had a draw. Then Death looked at me with a sly grin, handing me a Tupperware bowl with my half of uneaten Jell-O. I grabbed a straw, sucked it down, saying, "There's always room for Jell-O, bitch." But Death just smiled and said, "I believe I finished my half before you. Your soul is mine." But I just outsmiled and said, "What's that in your pocket, hooker?" His face suddenly reached into his pocket and pulled out the last Rice Krispie treat. He looked at me with fear as I handed him my wrapper and swallowed a mouthful of crispy marshmallow goodness. "I believe I win, asshole." Angel of Death bowed and vanished. I sat down to an episode of Full House and ordered a pizza, because there's never anything to eat at my house. Thank you. For years, that was my warm-up poem at the beginning of the set. And it's like after that, I could not get tongue-tied after that one. So, without any further ado, I want to bring up a gentleman who I actually met on... Now, Josiah, maybe you can answer this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but maybe you can answer this. Was the first time I saw you on Zoom?
In jail.
What's that?
Jail.
In jail?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember. He was teaching me poetry. He was really nice of him. No, but seriously though, I think because if I'm not mistaken, Elizabeth Jimenez Montalvo, who's on the board of directors, I think she recommended you for the festival in 2020 or 2021, and so you performed on Zoom. And I have to say, like, we've all, I mean, how many of you, it might be easier to say, how many of you didn't attend a poetry event on Zoom? Did not attend one on Zoom? Anyone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're a liar. You are a liar, Mike. How dare you? Your wife runs a Zoom. All right. Okay, so a small percentage of the room did not attend a poetry event on Zoom. Josiah's performance on that Zoom was as close as you could get to being in a live space with a poet. I was so thoroughly impressed with his work that night. And then from that point on, I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm ever going to get a chance to see him because we're in a lockdown and who knows when things will clear up. And sure enough, within a year, we were all at the Triton Museum in Santa Clara, and Josiah came out, and he killed it. He wowed everybody in the space, and I just needed to hear him in a church. I needed to hear him in a space that where he probably didn't even need a microphone. And I know that his energy is going to be an energy that we can all use for a Sunday evening. And I'm just really honored that he came down here. The gentleman runs one of the coolest bookstores. And it was kismet too, because I had asked him like months earlier, hey, would you ever want to do the festival again? And then, what it was I was going up with my friend William upstairs, and we were going to go see a comedy show. We were walking down the street in San Francisco, and I passed by his bookstore, Medicine for Nightmares. And I was like, wait a minute, I know the name. I know that name. And I was like, oh, this is Josiah's spot. And so I went inside, and I was like, hey, you want to do the San Jose Poetry Festival? He was like, sure, And here he is. So it just worked out. It was kismet. And so it is with great pleasure that I bring to you, to this microphone, this stage, in this space, Josiah Luis Alderete, everybody. Please.
Hola familia.
Hola, hola.
I've never done a reading where it came with a labyrinth. It's actually pretty amazing. So sorry. I'm a Chicano poet, which means I'm going to read some thinly veiled Catholic poems in a church on a Sunday. What is that anyway? The fleshy tendril? What is it?
It's the Stanford.
Okay. Do thank you. All right, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Here we are on a Sunday, dearly beloved. Let's start. How's this? Willem Dafoe as Jesucristo. Christopher Walken is doubting Tomas. That's not a poem, I'm just thinking out loud. Well, you know what's funny? Whenever you try and offer the divinity on this block some friendly advice, the response is always the same. Humo from obsidian is not currently being acknowledged as a legitimate form of communication or divination by the Catholic Church at this time. But still, our ancestors walk the walk and talk the talk. Only now they gotta stash it under the statues of the saints in the church when they're not using it. And I'm not confessing anything, mind you. I'm just telling you that one time I did take the head off a white man because the white collar he had on had all the espíritus in the room asking, who invited this motherfucker to the pachanga? And gracias, I will drink the sangre, but never from the cup. And gracias, I will partake of the body, but I'm going to piously ask that it be transubstantiated into a taco de carnitas first. At the head of the gigante cross, there's a neon Costco sign blinking on and off. At the the gigante cross, there's a pool of North American cocodrilo tears that prophesies all the signs of these end times. How the ears of Donaldo would become the hot new item in all the pan dulce shops. How the dogs of the apocalypse would have beso pluma haircuts. How the hands, balls, and cock of a saint would be available to the masses to stream for only $3.33 a month. How stigmata would become the far right's new karaoke. And here comes the Seraphim Synth Band, right on time. With their dyed black wings, severe chola eyeliner, and fire and brimstone cielo above them that wants absolutely nothing to do with our chingaderas or cave paintings.
I wrote that after watching Kevin Smith's Dogma. If we're being honest, my favorite Mexican growing up was Lou Diamond Phillips. Then it was Antonio Banderas. If we're being honest, it was Madonna who first told me about Frida Kahlo. If we're being honest, part of me always wants to thank Al Pacino's Puerto Rican and Cuban accents for all they have done for us. If we're being honest, I still have uncontrollable urges to wear me Nacho Libre wrestling mask, Che Guevara t-shirt, and Zapatista ski cap all at the same time. If we're being honest, I gotta say that all of my spiritual aspirations over the years have been cock-blocked by 1980s MTV pop references. Te lo juro, familia. Te lo juro. I was planning on reading all of the Mexica Holy Codices, man, every single one of them, but I just ended up watching a Netflix series about them instead. The series was narrated by Tenoch Huerta, but the subtitles made him sound like Morgan Freeman, so bilinguistically speaking, that was very confusing for me. Also, the pinche series was too long, man. It was like 19 episodes. I ended up falling asleep halfway through the third one and dreaming of episodes of Seinfeld in Spanish. Woke up in the middle of the night, panza rumbling, went into the kitchen, pulled out the peach pie that was in the fridge and started eating it in Nahuatl, which is kind of strange, man, because the only time I ever eat anything in Nahuatl is when I'm chewing on it in my dreams. And I know this isn't a dream. I know this isn't a dream. This right here, this isn't a dream. But if I say that, I don't want you to think that I don't still have faith. If I say that, I don't want you to think that I don't still believe. If I say that, I don't want you to think that I don't still cry over all of this every single morning, man. But my lágrimas are always ignored by the gato negro in the room, who's normally quite sympathetic to my situations, but for some reason, just watches me, man. That pinche gato has been here, busy dying for the past 3 years, but every day he's still here because every day the colibri come by and shoot vermilion and energia at him through the blood-stained window, man. And I get up every morning and I see that. I see the colibri there shooting vermilion and energia at him through the blood-stained window, and that's dreamy as hell, man. as sagrado as it gets. So what am I complaining about? What am I really asking for? What am I really asking for? What am I really asking for? Well, I suppose I'm really asking to remember those things they forced me to forget. I mean, I suppose I'm really asking to remember those things that were here before I was here. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. The Saturday morning cartoons of our cosmology. The whispering 3 a.m. pláticas by the bigotes and the elotes and your tata abuela's plastic-covered kitchen table. The cuentos, man. The cuentos. Told by homemade blue tattoos on the arms of tios and uncles and primos that you'll never ever meet, man, and are remembering these things. Gonna help me recognize those mysterious figuras that appear in the condensation on the liquor store refrigerator doors. Are remembering these things gonna explain to me why there's a fortune cookie in my pupusa with no fortune in it, man? Pues, quién sabe? But I would feel better if I knew that the energías that held mis manos y mis huesos before I was here can see the candelas I light for them and can taste the cafecito and the pan that I leave on the ofrenda for them, man. But that's just me. It's just what I hope for. It's just what I wish for. It's just what I want. It's what I pray for. That's what I hope they can see.
This poem is called Faith. Not like the George Michael song. I mean like Faith. You know, I wrote it for my little brother on the night that he was shot 8 times. Have you seen any left-handed colibri? Do you trust the liquor store aguacates around here? A drum beat, a redemption song is the soundtrack as I walk between matanza y matanza to a distancia that is not anywhere. As I'm going there, the burrito crosses the street, comes up to me and asks if I need help crossing the river today. And I say, what river? All I see is that crosswalk with the lazy ojo. All I see is the vatos locos kicking it on the corner with their tattoos, mumbling truths I can't quite hear through their skin. It's a stupid question, little brother, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If I walk al revés, will I be able to see which directions the balas are coming from? If the surveillance camera over there by Al's Market didn't record anything, did it really happen? If that security guard in the apartamento stairwell didn't see a thing, was it ever really there? Could it ever hurt you? ¿Quién más is watching us? ¿Quién más is protecting us? I ponder this as I wander through this, ignoring the signs of the cruz tagged on bus benches and ignoring those evangelical bullhorn
parking lot canciones coming from those well-dressed, well-intended young evangelistas. Personally, I've always preferred homemade bendiciones. It can be comped without showing proof of U.S. citizenship or Catholic ID. I have seen the colonizers' faces in the masa of the religious pupusas that they make around here on Saturdays and Sundays, and I swear to you, Jesus wrapped baked-in hot dogs también. The white motivational speakers' billboards, they reach past el cielo. In this neighborhood, those white motivational billboards, they reach past el cielo, blocking out the morning light. But we get up anyways. Shit, what else are we gonna do? We get up anyways and we go up the block and we ask the bent parking lot árbol, we ask the cracked concrete daisies if they got a few rayos of loose to spare. It's either that or we go up to the corner and ask the esquina apparitions for a frajo and pretend it's sunlight until our brown eyes get used to the shade. Have you seen any left-handed colibris, little brother? Do you trust the liquor store about this around here?
I was with my brother when he was when that happened to him, and I was in the ER with him, and you get a lot of good drugs when you get shot. So he goes, bro, write me a poem, and I wrote that for him, and I just read it to him, and he goes, what the fuck is that? He's fine, by the way. He's doing well. He's doing wonderful in his good lives. My little brother, man. I guess we're going to stick with the whole religious theme. I was reading recently Elliot Weinberger's last book, Essays, Saints and Angels. Y'all know Elliot? Really cool essays. Kind of looks like Larry David. Smokes a lot. But I picked up that book and I thought it's going to be exciting because the cat apparently researched angels in the Vatican Library for years. You know, this book comes out, so I thought there'd be some. But it's filled with just like angel cheesements. Just like the tea on angels. Like apparently angels don't like bald people. It's a documented fact. Yeah, apparently they don't. I don't know why. It's not explained. The other weird thing I found out about them is that apparently angels know everything from the very beginning of time up until now, but they're not capable of learning anything new. Sounds fucked up, man. Because they know like things from the beginning of time, but they're not going to get your pronouns straight. They ain't going to know that shit at all. So they just seem like strange beings to me. I wouldn't trust them. I still don't. That could be an angel. I don't know. Anyway, dumb, y'all. Dumb.
It was as dumb as the angels, man. I'm saying it was as dumb as the angels. That white boy getting himself shot for trying to photobomb the drive-by. The conquistador's paleta didn't melt fast enough to satisfy any of our ancestors because across time and space, they still whispered to us, pónganse trucho. That territory
moving through is strange, deranged. They call it America for now, and that name, America's never sounded like no Indian princess to me. That name, America's never sounded like no land of the free to me. America sounds like one of those off-brand candy bars that got too much nougat in it. It's saying, I was as dumb as the angels. A North Richmond pimp knocked down my backyard fence on Christmas morning and did not apologize about it. Wow. The ghost town that was once San Francisco's downtown has now shut down all of the bilingual parking lots, man, by decree of Mayor London Breed. So that all the vatos cruising around now, they gotta park their ramflas one on top of each other, man, stacking themselves all the way up to La Luna, creating a serious urban structural hazard on a deeply spiritual level, man. I'm saying it was as dumb as the angels. All the voices inside my head were wearing me Ben Davis this morning and said hello to me as I made my way down 24th Street to open up the bookstore. All of a sudden, this little rascal pack of shollops ran alongside me, nipping at my heels and barking like somebody was filming a bean chick commercial, man. And as I crossed South Van Ness and 24th, it was inevitable. It was inevitable that I would run into that racially ambiguous power couple. You know the ones. They just opened up that taco shop boutique on 24th and Harrison that specializes in free-range feathered serpent tacos. But nobody would come in. So no problem, you know, they shut down the place for a couple months. Apparently spent a couple of $million remodeling the joint, right? And then they opened up with a brand new chef and a brand new menu that only serves plant-based pre-Columbian meats. And now, boy, now business is booming, I'm saying. It was as dumb as the angels. All those years, and the sunset never mentioned you. Even on that last day, you was a stranger. A slurp of atole. One last look at the Blue Women mural. A fake gold crucifix dropped on the sidewalk in front of La Palma, and now you're a bag of huesos. Now you're a cuervo in the cypress tree. And me, well, thanks for asking. After all these years, thanks for asking. Me, I'm the ghost of Alfonsito Textador's prosthetic pierna that went missing from the neighborhood years ago and was never, ever recovered. You see, what I'm saying is, I'm not really here. Now, neither are you. There ain't nothing profound or spiritual about that at all. Shit. We're both just avoiding the corner where the car crash that kills us hangs out, talking shit and drinking with the other serpentine truths that the demiurge was supposed to whisper in our ears all those years ago, but never did. I'm saying, man, I was as dumb as the angels.
Going to church by force with my abuelita, my favorite part of the church sermon was, as a kid, I wouldn't pay attention. I would just go to the 7-Eleven and buy one of those 24-pack sticks of Big Red. And as church would progress, I would eat as many pieces of Big Red and hold it against my tongue, while it burned. It's very exciting church memories this is all bringing up. But my favorite part of the church ceremony was when the people would shake hands. Because as a kid, I fucking knew it was almost over. It's peace be with you and also with you. So it's almost over. We got peace be with you and also with you. 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 Yes. let me just do one last tiny one. We'll do a prayer, since where the flesh tendril is behind us, cascading towards the cell. And please don't refer to me as a Christian. If you have to call me anything, call me an Aslantean or a pocho or a left-handed guy ahead of last night. But we come from a place in La Área Bahia called La Misión, a neighborhood in San Pancho that has a beautiful living street on it, Calle 24. And Calle 24, like many streets, has its own citizens, yes? People who are part of that street who sometimes are ignored or looked down on or thought strangely of. We know these folks, they're part of our neighborhood. And one person, for me, that really embodies 24th Street is a person named Kelly. You see up and down 24th Street all the time. This is a prayer for Kelly. Or it's a poem for Kelly. Or it's a prayer for Kelly. Or it's a poem for Kelly. I don't know what it is, but apparently I heard from a very reliable neighborhood source that apparently God owes Kelly money. Now, I've seen Kelly check in with the atmosphere about this. I've seen Kelly play air guitar for the Seraphine about this. I've seen Kelly talk to electricity about this, man. But so far, near as I can tell, God has yet to get back to Kelly about that money. And my very reliable source tells me that God has owed Kelly that money for a real long time now, man. I'm talking maybe even longer than the imaginary Catholic creation of all of this. And for those of you that know Kelly, like I know Kelly, you can agree with me when I say that he can at times be a volatile sort. And me personally, I have never heard anything good about God. So I'm worried. I'm worried for 24th Street. I'm worried about what's going to finally happen when the two of them meet out there over that money. It could go bad. It could go real bad. One of them old school spaghetti western shootouts, you know? Kelly on one side, dressed all in black, an old-fashioned wheel gun. God with a 38 in his pocket and everyday features on his face. One of them walks 5 paces towards Treat Street. One of them walks 5 paces towards Harrison Street. And they turn around and pop, 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 pop. Blood and divinity splattered up and down the block. But maybe it won't go that way. Maybe God will be having honey-colored ojos and be eating one of those vegetarian burritos in front of Taqueria Vallarta. Maybe Kelly will come up on the alley, emerging from the murales escolores in scratchy black and white, and maybe the two of them will see each other at exactly the same time. God will drop his vegetarian burrito in surprise. Kelly will crack one of those big old Kelly smiles that comes right off of his face, and the two of them will run up to each other and embrace for a real long time. And then God will reach into his old blue jean pocket, pull out 3 wrinkled 20s, hand them over to Kelly and say, "Here, Kelly, here's the money I owe you." Amen.
you Year of the Rabbit? Year of the Rabbit? And just based on your shirt, I was just curious. You're a rooster? What year? What year were you born? 70? Okay. 76, 75, 76 is rabbit. Rachel, you're a rabbit. We're both wood rabbits. Because we're like barely 2 weeks apart. Yeah. That's all. Anybody else a rabbit? Anyone else? Yeah. Wait. Are you? Your daughter is rabbit? Josiah Luis Alderete is a full-blooded Spanish-speaking pocho and left-handed calejero de Aztlán, who has been part of the area Bahia spoken word scene for over 20 years. He's the curator and host of the long-running Latinx reading series Speaking Axolotl, and is author of 2 books of poetry, Baby Axolotls and Old Pochos, by Black Freighter Press 2021. And the chapbook Puchifaces de los Estados Jodidos for the Pueblo 2023. In 2023, he was the Poetry Center Master's writer in residence at San Francisco State, along with his bookstore sister, Tan Kankau. Josiah attends the portal known as Medicina para Pesadillas Bookstore y Galeria on 24th Street in La Mission. Folks, give it up one more time for Josiah Luis Alderete. Thank you so much. I implore you, if you're ever the next time you're in San Francisco, stop by his store and pick up some books. Support local bookstores, support local providers of literature, please, please.